Hello everybody, my name is Critic and welcome back to my ARK Hardcore playthrough where we're playing through the island on Hardcore. Now today we have a lot going on. Honestly, we make so many advancements today in the game that honestly I thought I was going to have to make this into a two-parter. I thought I already had my next episode recorded, but I was able to trim it down enough that we were able to make it fit within less than 35 minutes is kind of my goal for each episode. So today we're going to start off by doing something a little bit dangerous, but I think seeing a good way of doing it needs to happen. Again, this is on hardcore. If I die, I die. But that being stated, we can't just play it safe all the time. So what we're going to do right now is we are headed down to the beginning of the swamp area over by where we first started, and there's a couple of beaver dams, and we're going to get one here, and then we'll come back afterwards after we're done. Another thing is we're going to be jumping around a lot. There's going to be some skips that don't really make sense. Again, I thought I was going to have 2 episodes out of this because of how much content there was. But I decided to make some cuts just to kind of speed things along too. By the end of this, we actually get pretty big technological advancements. So, as you'll see in the thumbnail, please forgive my dog. She is very, very hyper right now, and just wants some more attention. But I promise you, she's been getting it for the past couple of hours. So, here we are. We're at this first beaver dam, and what I do is I kind of position myself. One, I make sure that there are no threats around, and so nothing can sneak up on me or the bird. So again, we still play it safe, but we want to do something risky. Then I position myself between my bird and the dam, and then I just hop right back onto the bird. And this is why it's important to have your bird at a high weight. So what I did there, that cut that I just did, I ended up going to my original, or to the starter base. I got all of the cementing paste, all of the chitin, and all that stuff, so I could make a metal trap. Now, I mentioned in the last episode that I normally make a drop-down trap, where basically you have an animal follow you into the trap, they run up the stairs, and then they just drop down into a two-wall high area. And so that's what we're going to be making here, is one of those drop-down traps. And I wanted to make it out of metal in this area because we're going to be trying to trap Megatherium if we can find one that is high enough level. The problem with Megatheriums is that in this area there are bugs. And if a Megatherium kills a bug, it gets a buff where it deals an exponential amount of damage. It is an insane amount of damage, to the point where even a level 20 Megatherium, if it gets that bug buff, it will completely wreck an unsuspecting Rex. Or, they're so strong once they get that bug buff. So what I do here is I build the 3 sides, and then I'm going to be putting a dino gateway on the other side. Because as of this point in time, I don't have cryopods yet. So the dino gateway gives us a way out. And so what you can do is you can build 2 tiles out from any structure, from any snapped foundation. So I'm building 2 extra foundations. I'm making these out of stone because I don't care if they get destroyed. But we're going to go ahead and put these stairs on. You'll notice I had to destroy one of the stairs that I'd already put on because we have to have these go all the way down to the ground. Now, anybody who's experienced in the game might be asking, why aren't you just using ramps? They're longer. They probably would have actually reached the ground. My issue with ramps is that when they're steep, sometimes they're too steep depending on the terrain. So you can have an animal chasing you, and they'll actually get stuck on the ramp. Whereas I've never had them actually get stuck on stairs. So here we go. The ramp is so the stairs are up. The dino gateway is in. The dino gate is going in. And then that's the trap. That's the whole thing. So I decided to test it on this bear here. And this is only a level like 20 bear or something like that. It's very low level. The only reason that I'm taming a bear that's that low is when bears are really only good for one thing: honey. And you don't have to have a high level bear to get honey. So, you know, it doesn't need to be a high level bear. It just doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to this cliff up here. Now I do cut this out because you guys have seen me knock stuff out before, so I'm not going to put you through all of that. But what I did do is I pumped a whole bunch of trank darts into it from up here. And I finished it off with a trank arrow down, down there, because eventually I was getting invalids. So you'll see here that you get that hit marker, and then I was getting invalids, so I came down here and I finished it off. I did forget to put my bird on passive though, so yeah, I had to quickly hit the semicolon to make it passive. Just as the bear went down, it did lose taming effectiveness because of that. But again, it's only level 20. I'm only using it to gather honey. So if you're curious as to what the benefits of using a bear for honey is, when when it comes down to bees, you can either break the hive and tame the queen if there is a queen inside of it, or you can collect honey from it every, I think it's 15 minutes. If you, the player, collect honey from it, a swarm of bees will attack you and deal a lot of damage. Honestly, it is a lot of damage. It doesn't matter how much armor you have. Unless, of course, you make bug repellent and have a ghillie suit and all that stuff. So if there is a swarm, or so if there are bees inside of it, if there is a queen inside of it, then large bees will also spawn and attack you as the player if you collect the honey from it. If there is not a queen, so if there's not a queen, you just get the swarm effect, which will just drain your life. There's nothing you can do about it. If there is a queen, then you'll get the swarm and the additional bees that will attack you. So that's no good either. So what you can do though is if there is a queen inside of it, you break it, the queen comes out, you use rare flowers to tame it, and it's a pain in the butt because she's constantly spawning bees, drones to protect her, and it ends up being a really big ordeal. Otherwise, what you can do is just go up and collect the honey. You get 5 honey, whereas with a bear, it doesn't matter if there's bees inside of it or not. You right-click on it while you're mounted on a bear, and the bear just collects 15 honey instead of 5 honey. So it's automatically better because it picks 15 instead of 5, so it triples the amount you get. But not just that, you're also immune to the bug effects. So while you're riding a bear, you are immune to the effects of the honeybees. So it's really worth it to ride a bear for that purpose alone. In general, bears are very tanky, but they're mostly for honey. So since we're at the point of getting honey, I've been building building my greenhouse as I've been talking about this. It's time to finally finish this up. So the benefits of having an actual greenhouse is it triples the amount. It increases the grow time of your crops by 3. So there's what's known as the greenhouse effect, and at 300%, your crops are growing at triple the speed. So you'll see that they're just updated. So in order to get the greenhouse effect, you have to have your planters by the wall, and you have to have a greenhouse roof over it, no more than 2 tiles high. So if you go 3 tiles high, you lose some of the greenhouse effect. So you want to have it 2 tiles high. It doesn't matter if you're using the pitched roofs or the flat roof. So went ahead, and I couldn't just walk into it from the one side, so I put stairs down. Yeah, I mean, it was just, I just had to finish this up. I've been waiting to do it for a while. Getting the Ankylosaurus definitely helped with that, because I was able to just start farming crystal. So now that that's done, I decided to go ahead and come back over here, since I was on my way back. And if you try to land a bird in the water, it won't let you. But if you land on the ground and then you walk into the water, you can go so far in. So again, you want to find the right position where you can access it, take all, hit ride, and then take off. And I'm going to turn around here, and you can see that beaver is swimming straight for where I was. That beaver is going to follow me until I'm out of its render distance. So you want to get out of render distance fast. As long as there's a beaver there, they will rebuild their dams. If you take just like a few things out of a dam, but like leave all the wood, so if you take all the cementing paste, the rare flowers, the silica pearls, or the rare mushrooms, and you leave the wood, it will not replenish. You have to destroy the whole thing, or it'll just remain there with the wood in it. So excuse me. So you have to make sure that you're doing, you know, that you make or that you destroy the whole beaver dam. So once I got back, I needed to get more metal for my later advancements. So we've seen this before. I took the Anky out. I got some metal, and we'll be skipping ahead here once again. So part of what I need is I'm going to need oil, and I'm going to need polymer. And so in the snow biome of the island, you have these huge rocks here, and they're all black. And these are these are oil nodes. You can actually come out here with an Anky and get a bunch of oil out of them. So, and they're all over this area here. My render distance isn't very high because, you know, again, I'm using a 1060, and then, you know, so kind of one of those things. But yeah, another reason that I'm here, though, like I said, is the polymer, and for that I'm just going to use organic polymer, which you get from the Kairuku or the penguins. You saw there that I was at 30 latitude, 10 longitude. And so we're just going to go a little bit north and east of there. And it's basically what you want to do is stick to the icebergs, because they're going to be the safest places to farm the Kairuku. And so this is actually going to be kind of, for lack of a better term, it's an abysmal process. You'll notice that there are baby Kairuku, juveniles, and adolescent. And you see there I got 5 organic polymer with the RG. I got 8 out of that one. And the babies tend to give you the most, which is really, you know, like I said, it's not the most friendly way of doing things, right? So, the best way to get the organic polymer out of these, though, is to actually beat them with a club once they're dead. And you can see here that this one Kairuku is giving me 31 organic polymer, whereas when I was harvesting them with the bird, I was only getting, you know, 5 to 8 per. So what I do here is just, you know, kill some more. Like I said, it's a brutal process. Like, you know, you never feel good killing babies or any, you know, in any video game, and it's you know, it's especially cruel. But at the same time, I really need the resources, so here we are. So again, I mean, unfortunately, It's as weird as it is. Using the club is just the best way to get the materials out of them. And the club isn't really strong, so it'll break. You have to just repair it real quick if it's equipped on your hotbar, and it breaks as long as you've got the materials in your inventory to repair it. You just hit that button and it'll repair. But I basically just keep doing this. It gets me enough to kind of to get what I need. And so what I need right now, the reason I'm over here, the reason I needed all that metal, and the reason that I need the oil and the organic polymer is I'm going to be making cryopods and a cryo fridge. So these are part of the, technological advancements. Plus, I mean, it's just time. I've got got myself an Anki. I've got the metal. Starting to actually get to where end game is a possibility. I just need to start farming. I need to finally get the creatures that I need to run the caves and to farm all the necessary materials. Excuse me. So, with that in mind, I need to go get some of that oil that I passed up. You can see that I've got crystal, metal, a little bit of oil. I've got some hide, fiber, all the stuff that you really need to make cryopods. The one thing I don't have, and I realize it too late, is that I did not bring any of my electronics with me to make the cryo fridge. So, since I'm over here though, I go ahead and I get some of this oil, and I'm gonna leave this part in. I know that you guys have seen me farm a whole bunch of stuff, but anytime I do something new, I definitely want to show it, so that way we're not just randomly skipping through stuff, This is, it's an important process of the game. And especially when you have something like an Argentavis where you can just hop on and go to the next thing, hop on and go to the next thing. It goes pretty quick. Like, you don't have to spend hours doing this. Now, if we had, what I can do once I've got these cryopods though, is I can just carry my Anki in my inventory and, excuse me, come out to these icebergs and just throw the Anki out and run around and smack these things and get even more oil. So, I've been clearing my throat a lot. I apologize for that too. I don't normally speak this much this early in the day, so I'm still kind of getting that groggy head stuff out, So now that I've got all the oil that I need, got all the polymer that I need, and all, you have to create or craft. You have to craft the cryopods and the cryo fridge at the obelisks. So we're not going to go to the blue obelisk that's in the winter area, because it's in the winter area. I don't want to keep wasting food just to craft these things. So we're gonna go ahead and fly over to the red obelisk. Now this is actually one of my favorite spots on the map. Anytime you come over here, there's always gonna be this brawl going on. It's always gonna be random animals. So sometimes you'll come over here and there's like Rexes or Allosauruses or all sorts of stuff. It's honestly a really fun place to go, and you can actually find some high-level creatures there that you can kill everything around and then start taming. So, always worth checking that place out. So, we get here to the red obelisk. We load everything into it. And then once everything is loaded into it, we can actually start crafting the stuff that we need to craft. One issue with organic polymer is it does expire. So So you have to kind of use it quickly, and it only stacks to 20. So here's where I kind of realized that I forgot my electronics, which I mentioned before. So I'm just going to make as many cryopods as I can. The cryopods, again, I mean, they're basically Pokeballs. So you got to have them. Yeah, and you can only craft them one at a time. So you can't even queue up a whole bunch. You have to sit there and actually like hit craft, craft, craft. Like once it's done, you craft to the next one. Once it's done, you craft the next one. They're really annoying. So on my way back, I saw a couple of Doedicurus that were curled up in balls, and this level 72 was pretty much the highest level one that I had seen so far. I might have seen a level 76 in a previous episode, but I really needed Doedicurus. This one is curled up, which means that it's down pretty low on health. You can see that its shell is a little bit bloody. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it off outside of my base. Animals won't really wander up to the base anymore of their own volition. Like they'll chase other animals into it or something like that. But yeah, so here I am. I've got all my cryopods. I'm actually cryoing up the bear. I still haven't tamed the Doedicurus. It's still gaining its health back. But I go ahead and I get the important stuff out of these creatures. Select the rare mushrooms, but then everything else can just despawn on the floor. Those berries are really easy to get again. I'm not that worried about it. So we go ahead and just cryo up all of our animals. This way we don't have to worry about feeding them. We don't have to worry about whether or not they'll die, or attract a carnivore or anything like that. We just don't have to worry about it. So when you get to the point where you can actually make cryopods, it helps out a ton. So here we have this Doedicurus. It's up, it's moving, and we are going to use the trank darts with the gun. And the reason for this is, well, one, the trank darts deal a lot more torpor than the arrows do. But the biggest part is they deal a lot less damage than the arrows do. The way that Doedicurus work is when they curl up into the ball, they take an immensely less amount of damage, which also means they take an immensely less amount of torpor. So if you are fighting against, or if you're trying to tame one and it curls up into a ball, and let's say you're using arrows and a crossbow, chances are pretty high you could actually kill it before it knocks out. And I've done it before. It's something that it really sucks. And not only that, it takes so many more resources to knock them out once they curl up into a ball. So the best thing that you can possibly do for yourself is use trank darts, not trank arrows. And just make sure that you're spacing everything out just right. So here you can see I'm using this trap again. And what I did was I lured it through just like I had to do with the Anki. And then their turn radius sucks so much. So I didn't realize I cut all that out. But I did knock out that Anki, or that Doedic. You can see it on my screen that it's knocked out over there. I'm basically letting it starve. So I came back over to the beach base, and I am collecting, just picking up all of the animals from here. This way I can take them elsewhere, or take them to the new base, and I can actually use them from there. So just basically kind of doing a big condensing, making sure that I've got everything where it needs to be. So I did go ahead and grab my, you can see I've got the cryo fridge in there. I used the last of the polymer to make one final cryopod. As I was gone, I went ahead and tamed this thing up. I did do the starve tame method. So basically I just let it sit there as I went and did everything else, and came back, fed it some narcotics, gave it the food, and then waited it out. Um, you can see that it went from level 72 to level 107, so we got a really good taming effectiveness on it. But then we go ahead and cryo this thing up too. One big bonus of having your animals in a cryopod is they gain experience passively. So I crafted this fabricator a couple episodes ago, and I hadn't placed it yet. So I decided to place it. Since I have a cryo fridge, I need to get some power running. So I went ahead and crafted up a gas-powered generator, some cables, and some junction boxes. So that way we can get everything plugged in and ready to go for power. In my haste, I completely forgot to make lights. So currently we are still using torches as our light source in this building, but that's okay. That's going to get fixed here in the next episode. Yeah, so I'm basically just trying to figure out how I want to lay this out. So I've got to make sure that that the generator is accessible, because we have to make sure that it stays full of gasoline. I have not adjusted the gasoline to burn slower, so that's going to be a major positive for me. So I've got to make sure that I continually craft gasoline and all that stuff. So just trying to figure out the best position for all this stuff. And I place it there. I make sure it's not poking through the wall, which it isn't. And then I get my cables out. Well, I move this guy to the side. Then I get my cables out, and I start placing stuff down in a way that it just hopefully works. Planning your cables is one of the worst parts of running. Is one of the worst parts of running power in this game, because everything's kind of preset. You don't really get much choice in the matter, unless you're using flexible cables, but you can only place, I think it's up to 300 flexible cables and pipes in one single area. So, and you can see here that the cables kind of go below the stone, so it's really hard to tell where they're snapping to. And you can only hope that they're snapping to each other. So what I do here is I make sure that, you can see where in the ground there's that little piece poking out. And so now that's all the cables that I need to run at this point in time. One positive of the way that that power works in this game is, especially where gas generators are concerned, it's pretty much limitless. You're not going to have, one gas generator is all it really takes to power your entire base, no matter how large it is. So as long as you've got power cables connected to one generator, you can run the whole thing. You can also set up multiple generators as backups of each other. So if you're, for example, on a PvP server and somebody destroys one of your generators, you've got other ones behind it, making it work still. So here we are, we're placing down the cryo fridge. Now the cryo fridge is what you put the cryopods into. And the reason for that is the cryopods have a shelf life of 1 month from when you basically build them or take them out of the cryo fridge. You've got up to 30 days of life on them. And you can see that on the bottom there. That's what the little yellow numbers are, is how long it has until the cryopod decharges, and if the cryopod decharges completely, your animal dies. You still get the cryopod, but your animal dies. So now that everything is cryoed up and all that, I need a little bit more polymer, and so for that, I'm going to bring out my my trusty old Moz chops. I'm just going to run around and right click. I'm going to right click again. Look at that. Look how much organic polymer I'm getting. Again, it's it's not like the 30 or so that I was getting with with the club, but look at how much I'm getting and how fast I'm getting it. It may not be better than the club, but it's definitely better speed-wise. So there's a really good trade-off there. Now this Moz Chops also isn't. This is the one that I was building up for prime meat. So after I gathered all that, I went ahead and crafted a couple of refrigerators. I crafted an air conditioner so I can start getting my egg incubator room working. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more technological advancements. We are getting to the end of this episode, though. Like I said, it's a lot of jumping around. It's a weird episode. With it being the beginning of winter and me dealing with my sinuses, which you guys have heard for a while there. Again, I apologize about that. Not going to cut it out, though, because, life, man, life. It's also why I don't cut my dog sounds out, because life, So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. This is where we're pretty much going to end it. I'm just going to fill everything into these refrigerators here, and yeah. So thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate you guys being here, supporting me through watching. It's super appreciated. So you guys take care. This has been Critic, and I will see you later.